Hey, kindergarten and TK students, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed your science lesson and you got some time to do the activities that we added below on the butterflies and the caterpillars. Last week, Mrs. Thal taught you about Benjamin Franklin. And so before we get started on our lesson today on Thomas Jefferson, I thought we'd do a little review on Benjamin Franklin as well as sing our Months of the Year song. So, yeah, let's get going with the Months of the Year song. See if you can sing it along with me. We usually put our hands out like this and we sing January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, 12 months of the year. Yeah. And if you want to sing it the other way, which is turning around till you go all the way around, then you can end up singing it 4 times for your family or do it with your siblings. Hey, as we move on to Benjamin Franklin, wanted you to kind of think about what do you remember about him? Do you remember that he was a hard worker? Do you remember that he invented many different items, very useful items? Do you remember that he worked also on the Declaration of Independence, which we're going to find out he did with Thomas Jefferson? Let me read to you a couple pages of one of my favorite books we have on Benjamin Franklin, the beginning in his life, and then we'll review one of the activities that Mrs. Thal added as part of your activities, Benjamin Franklin activities. This says, over 200 years ago, when America was just 13 colonies, there lived a super smart guy. You may have heard of him. His name was Benjamin Franklin, but most people called him Ben. This story is about how Ben invented some magic squares. First, here's a few things you need to know about this great man. And I just wanted to read to you the couple pages on his life as a boy because I thought this was very, very fun. And it told me about what a hard worker he was, how creative he was, and how different he was. Benjamin Franklin was smart. He put his brain to good use. He was always thinking and writing and inventing cool things, even when he was a kid. When he was just 11 years old, Benjamin Franklin jumped into a lake holding a kite. The kite pulled by the wind, and Ben was pulled by the kite. The kite flew a whole mile with Ben holding on to the kite. Can you imagine that? Do you think that'd be fun or a little scary? That same year, Ben wanted to swim faster than anyone else. And so he made flippers for his hands and his feet, and they worked. People still use a version of Ben's flippers today. So it says the flippers were invented in 1717 by Benjamin Franklin. Pretty cool. I think I had about 2 more pages to read to you. As Ben grew older, he kept thinking and writing and inventing. When he was 23, he wrote and printed a newspaper called the Pennsylvania Gazette. People loved it. When he was 26, Ben wrote and printed a book called the Poor Richard's Almanac. An almanac is a book of useful information from weather predictions and advertisements to important dates. Ben's almanacs had even more things in them. There were witty sayings. Witty means like clever sayings and puzzles. Some of the witty sayings that he was known for is nothing. Here's one of my favorite ones. Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. Another one. There never was good war or bad peace. Another one he said is lost time is never found again. Another one that people say still is an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Those are some of the fun sayings that Benjamin Franklin is known for. One more. When Ben was 36, he invented a special stove. It kept homes warmer than a fire in a fireplace, and it burned less wood. Everyone was amazed, and people still use Franklin stoves today. So take a look at that. It's pretty neat. I know there's many things that Benjamin Franklin invented, and here is one of the activities, I believe, that you did last week. So some of the inventions that Benjamin Franklin is known for. I'll hold that up there. So hopefully you got to do yours last week and you got to color and cut and put those in there. Awesome. You could definitely take pictures and send emails to Mrs. Thal or I. We love to see your work. And I think in my last video, I recommended Marco Polo, which is an app that you can download with your parents' help on a phone or an iPad or a device. But that is a way that you can send me a quick video of what you're learning, what you're doing, and I can send you a video back. Well, here today, we're going to get to Thomas Jefferson, another famous person that we wanted to teach you guys a little bit about. First thing I would like to do is to read a little paragraph about Thomas Jefferson, and then we'll talk about some of the main details of him and his life. And then some of the follow-up activities that you can do at home to further your learning this week. It says Thomas Jefferson was born on April 13th, 1743. He was the main writer of the Declaration of Independence. We just learned that he was the main writer, but Benjamin Franklin was one of the people who helped him. The Declaration of Independence called for the United States to have freedom against England's rule. He later became the third president of the United States, and he grew the country, almost doubled its size, in helping negotiate the Louisiana Purchase. So there's Thomas Jefferson, and we're going to send you a link so you can read this again at home with your family. We also have some questions that you can do. Follow-up questions from the reading, like when was he born? What did Thomas Jefferson help write? And what number president was he? All right, who can remember that? What number president was he? The third. Good job. He was the third president. So as you get these activities, I want you to work on those this week. There's also going to be a Thomas Jefferson timeline and some of the major things he did on the bottom. You can color just like you would if you were in class with Mrs. Thal and I. It says he asked Lewis and Clark to explore and map America. He helped write the Declaration of Independence. He became the third president of the United States, and he made the Louisiana Purchase. Good, just like you've done in class. You're going to color those 4 events in his life. You're going to cut them out, and you are going to paste them. All right, and you can see that I have a finished one. All right, so with that, I wanted to read to you. I wrote down on this poster, just so I would remind you in closing, some of the things that I learned about Thomas Jefferson and I thought were very interesting in his life. Thomas Jefferson. So he was the what president? The third president. And he was the main writer in what document? Do you guys remember? Yes, the main writer in the Declaration of Independence. That's why I put it up there too. He helped our country almost double its size in the Louisiana Purchase. And you're going to see in this picture right here. Let's see which one I want to show you. Yep, in the timeline number 4, you're going to see that big part in the United States, that middle part right there. That is the Louisiana Purchase. Okay. And so he helped the United States grow in its size. Other things about Thomas Jefferson I didn't want to forget to tell you. He can be found on the nickel. So if you get out a nickel, you're going to see Thomas Jefferson's face on a nickel. He had 6 sisters and 3 brothers. I thought that was very interesting. He grew up in a very big, wealthier family. And the links, and there's a PowerPoint video slideshow that we will also include, gives a lot of interesting facts on his life and him as a kid and a young man, but another famous person. And I hope that by the end of this video, you can tell your siblings or your family a couple things you learned about Thomas Jefferson. All right, until I see you next time, have a great week and keep learning.